Bay is like no place else.
Wait, you can't recycle the bag? You have to throw it away.
Proper recycling keeps it that way for everyone. Bags tangle in machinery and can bring sorting efforts to a halt.
No bags.
Trash the bags and keep our recycling program moving forward.
No, Mom, look, no plastic bags.
Do your part to keep our recycling bag-free. Trash the tanglers or return them to participating retailers. For more information, visit TampaBayRecycles.org.
Good morning and welcome to the Hillsborough County Transportation Planning Organization, a meeting for Wednesday, December the 11th, 2024. Let us all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Myers?
Here.
Mayor Ross? Here. Commissioner Miller?
Here.
Commissioner Wastel?
Here.
Commissioner Cohen is excused. Commissioner Bowles? Present. Councilmember Clendenin? Here. Councilmember Hurtak? Here. Councilmember Maniscalco? Here. Mayor Kilton?
Here.
School Board Member Rendon?
Here.
Charles Klug?
Here.
Joe Lupano? Gina Dew? Greg Slater?
Here.
Gary Hartfield?
Present.
Planning Commissioner?
Here.
Joseph, thank you. We do have an in-person quorum.
Thank you, thank you. And at this time, we're going to recognize one of our former members of the planning organization. And as this year come to a close, we know that Commissioner Kemp has served very, very well on this board. I believe she's been on this board for probably 8 years, but more involved in the community, probably coming to this board for several items, addressing it on behalf of the community. Commissioner Kemp, we want to thank you for your service, attending all of the meetings, expressing your thoughts and how and what we should do as a board. We appreciate your service. We look forward to seeing you here again, coming on behalf of the citizens. As you begin a new chapter, we thank you for the chapter that you've given us on this journey as being a part of the planning organization, a meeting. And so with that being said, I'd just like to read the certificate of appreciation presented to Commissioner Pat Kemp in recognition of your commitment and dedication to improving transportation for our community in 8 years of service as a member of the TPO board. Let's show some love to Commissioner Kemp. Come on up and express your concerns. Yeah, you can take that mic, or you can come up here and we can take a picture once you finish sharing your thoughts with us.
I'm joined by my able former aide, Laura Lawson, who was also chair of the CAC MPO, or she was a member starting in 2014, and she became chair in 2016, and she's been there supporting me the whole time. And actually, it made me think for a second, the first time I got involved with the MPO was back when I was in my 20s. And I was really actually fighting for two-waying Florida Avenue and the widening of Hillsborough Avenue from 275 to the bridge. But anyway, so it's been long years, and I've appreciated my time, and it's a big job, as we know, a big county with a lot of traffic and a lot of transportation needs. So I just want to thank you all for recognizing my work and my time here, and I'd like to have Laura join with me too. She's just been right there with me. Thanks.
Thank you all. Come on up so we can take a picture. Commissioner, can you come? Yes. Come on, board members, we're gonna make this work. Okay, can we have a motion to approve the minutes, please? Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for November 6, 2024. All in favor of that motion say aye. Aye. Any opposes? That motion is carried. For public comments, we have one person to speak. It's Rick Fernandez. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning, Chair. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to
Yes.
defer my public comment in the interest of time. I'll have what I have to say as the chair for the CAC.
Okay, with that being said, you're still up. So you're now speaking as a CAC
Okay.
chair, followed by
right.
Harmony McGee.
Thanks. All right, I'll put on my other hat, and I appreciate it. Good morning. Let me find my report. Okay, for the record, my name is Rick Fernandez. I chair your CAC. This is the CAC meeting report for our December 4 joint meeting with the Technical Advisory Committee. We convened at noon as part of that annual joint TAC-CAC meeting. We met quorum requirements and therefore were able to execute on the 3 action items that were on our agenda, all 3 of which are on your agenda this morning for action as well. We also, as a side note, and very importantly, we had the opportunity to welcome a new representative member to the CAC. That would be the representative from the school board who joined us for the first time at this joint meeting last week. So we welcome her. I apologize at this moment. I can't recall her name, so that's my bad. Perhaps a school board member will be able to refresh. Okay, the 3 action items we were given, the first, FDOT and FTE tentative work program for fiscal year 26 to 30, and the TPO letter of comment. We recommended approval of the letter of comment with edits that have been included in the copy of the document, which I understand was forwarded to you folks yesterday by TPO staff. On the second page of the letter of comment, there are 3 paragraphs that have been highlighted in yellow. Those 3 are the suggested edits or additions from the CAC, and I will just quickly go over them on the off chance that you haven't had a chance to review them yourselves. Regarding the Tampa International Airport runway reconstruction, that's FPN number 455952-1. The CAC requested that FDOT assess the area surrounding the airport, noting that increased pedestrian activity in the West Shore Business District has raised safety concerns. A second process-oriented request was offered for FDOT to analyze the social impacts and conduct an environmental justice review for projects identified in the work program. The CAC also requested that FDOT seek to identify potential sources of funding for the Tampa Arterial Bus Rapid Transit Project, connecting downtown to USF, noting also that this project is a priority for the Hillsborough TPO. Finally, the CAC requested that design funds for the I-275 widening from Hillsborough Avenue to Beers, that's FPN 431821-3, be removed from the FDOT work program. So those are the 3 recommendations, or the 3 paragraphs that address recommendations by the CAC at our meeting last week. Concern was raised, following the action items, or that action item, we went to tip amendments. That's Eastport, Omniport expansion, the HART CAD AVL system replacement, and the HART Federal Highway Surface Transportation Program. We recommended approval. I believe that was a unanimous vote. And the 2025 meeting calendar, which is also on your agenda for today, we recommended approval of the calendar as presented. The joint TAC-CAC then heard a presentation on land use and transportation and how the TPO and Planning Commission work together. CAC members asked for clarifications related to the areas of transportation concurrency and the different comprehensive plans. Concern was raised regarding the process by which the Planning Commission representative on the TPO board executes votes in the name of the commission, specifically related to the June 2024 vote amending the TIP to include capacity project language for I-275 north of Hillsborough to Beers. The Planning Commission representative voted in favor of the amendment without prior input from the Planning Commission members, which I will add anecdotally would have been impossible given the fact that that motion and that litigation was brought forward without notification to the board members or the public. When a member of the CAC asked the Planning Commission to agenda this item for discussion at a future meeting, they were told the issue was outside the Planning Commission's purview and therefore not appropriate for agenda inclusion. The questions posed by a member of the CAC were as follows. 1, how is it possible or appropriate for the Planning Commission representative to vote on an issue outside the purview of his agency? And 2, by what method is the public to engage the Planning Commission on matters outside its purview in anticipation of TPO board votes, or, as in this case, following TPO board action? The same question, by the way, could be raised with regards to the school board, but we have noted historically since the June meeting of the TIP review that the school board has been more open to discussion on this issue, and we will, I'm sure, pursue that as individuals and as members of various civic associations. That's it. That's all I've got. I'll stand for questions if there are any, otherwise respectfully submitted.
Thank you so much, Rick. Are there any questions? I don't see any. Thank you. Okay, Harmony McGee, good morning.
Good morning, Harmony McGee, TPO staff. Regarding today's action items, the Technical Advisory Committee was unable to meet quorum at the joint TAC and CAC meeting. However, several members of the Technical Advisory Committee expressed support for the recommended actions made by the Citizen Advisory Committee regarding the Florida Department of Transportation and Florida Turnpike Enterprise Tentative Work Program and the TPO letter of comment. Members highlighted the importance of clarifying how projects align with addressing fatalities and serious injuries, emphasizing the inclusion of meaningful data to demonstrate the life-saving potential of these initiatives. While the Technical Advisory Committee could not take formal action on the TIP amendments for the Eastport Omniport expansion, HART CAD AVL system replacement, and the HART FHWA surface transportation program, members present did engage in discussion. They noted the importance of addressing public feedback on the port expansion and ensuring clear communication about funding sources. The enhanced capabilities of the HART real-time bus tracking system were also highlighted as a key improvement for users. The Technical Advisory Committee looks forward to receiving further updates and providing formal input at a future meeting. Additionally, the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, Livable Roadways Committee, and the Citizen Advisory Committee all approved their 2025 draft meeting calendars. Community feedback was received via email and social media. Dana Lazarus shared her support for the TIP amendment on HART CAD AVL system replacement through email, describing it as a critical investment in modernizing transit tracking systems and improving reliability for riders. She emphasized the importance of replacing the outdated 2006 system and noted its potential to enhance customer experience by reducing wait times. She also raised concerns about the Eastport expansion, questioning the source of the additional acreage and its possible effects on surrounding communities and public spaces, suggesting it may favor private businesses at the expense of the city. Tatiana Morales provided feedback on Facebook, emphasizing the need for prioritizing investments in mass transit over highway expansion to make the region more competitive. In celebration of Go for a Ride Day, community members shared various modes of transportation they plan to use in response to a related post. Their comments highlighted the diversity of transportation preferences in the region. On LinkedIn, Ned Baer expressed excitement about the growth of the water ferry service in the Tampa Bay region, commenting on our post cross-promoting Ford Pinellas' waterborne transportation survey. Tampa Electric commented on a separate post about the Planning and Design Awards ceremony on social media, congratulating award recipients and expressing gratitude for being a sponsor at the event. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none here, thank you so much. Okay, we'll move to our consent agenda. We have a motion, please. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposers? That motion is carried. At this time, we're going to hear from our legal counsel, Cameron Clark, on the City of Tampa to give us an update. Good morning.
Good morning, board members. This is a really brief update. There was a question, I believe Mr. Cohen suggested this at the last meeting. It regarded how the City of Tampa approves agreements in terms of how it, what entity, be it the mayor or city council, would be involved in approving a redesignation if this was to become a multi-county MPO. And in conversation with the city attorney's office there, any agreement that's binding on the City of Tampa has to be approved by city council. And he actually looks directly at the MPO statute and stated he believed that would have to go to city council. So that was the answer to that question.
Okay. Any questions, any comments? Thank you so much. We'll move right into our action item. Action item A, FDOT and FTE. Staff, if you could come on up. Good morning. Susan, good morning.
Good morning. Is it? Okay. Just want to make sure. Can you tell me
Suzanne.
which? Yes, ma'am. This one? Okay. Good morning. My name is Suzanne Ziegler with FDOT. I am the Government Liaison Manager. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Tentative Work Program public hearing for fiscal year 26 through 30. So a little bit about the work program update process. It's a 5-year plan. It includes projects anywhere from transit projects, seaports, airports, rail, right-of-way acquisition, design, transportation planning, and construction activities. Ooh, sorry. Okay. So every year on June 30th, the current year of the work program ends. And so year 26 or 25 will fall off and we'll move into 26. That will become our first year. And our new 5th year will be year 5 would be 2030. So at this time, we're looking to we looked at prioritization and we are moving forward with programming projects in fiscal year 30. So this is where we're at right now. It is still subject to the legislation and the governor's review before it is adopted in July. So we have a couple program strategies that we look at first when we are going through this process, and we're looking to preserve the existing program. First and foremost. Second, we will look to fund any kind of next phase projects. If we have something in design, we're going to look to see if it needs right-of-way or construction next. And then lastly, we would look to add those new projects into fiscal year 30. When looking at priorities, we're going to be looking at the MPO's priorities, the regional priorities, the SCTPA, and the TMA priorities, as well as FDOT and CIS priorities. So the next couple pages are going to be about the projects that were chosen for fiscal year 30. There's some that are a little bit further in. However, these are going to be new projects, any projects that were deferred or any of projects of interest. So if I don't mention a project today, it just means that there's no changes at this time. So the first up is our planning funds. So the Hillsborough TPO receives planning funds in fiscal year 30. That's their number one ask off the priority list. Second, we are adding planning funds to fiscal year 30 for Fletcher Avenue from Armenia Avenue to Nebraska Avenue, Avenue. And then planning funds in fiscal year 30 for City of Tampa to look at Azeel Street from Del Mabry Highway to Armenia Avenue. Next would be our transit projects. These are the two asks every year. I believe they're 3 and 5. Hart bus stop capital repairs will be added in fiscal year 30 along with the bus replacements. Complete street projects that were chosen: Florida Avenue at Barris Avenue, intersection improvements. We added design in fiscal year 30. State Road 674 from US 301 to south of County Road 580. Design added in 2030. And then State Road 674 east of 27th Street Southeast, intersection improvements were added to this project in fiscal year 23. Just to note, that project is going to be across from the new Moffett Center, so they are making sure that the intersection there can handle the traffic as that's being built. Bike ped improvements that were added: North 56th Street and Siawasa Drive. Pedestrian safety improvements, it's going to be a mid-block crossing added there for the City of Temple Terrace. Design in 26, construction in 30. And then Hillsborough County applied on behalf of City of Temple Terrace for Bullard Parkway at Broad Avenue Crosswalk. This also is going to be a crosswalk with pedestrian improvements. PE design is going to be in 26, construction is going to be in 30. And then rounding out would be Alexander Street from west of James Parkway to I-4 sidewalk. Construction is going to be in fiscal year 30, and design is currently underway. Hillsborough County sidewalk gaps, phase 3. This is construction in fiscal year 30. This is projects on the state highway system that we're looking to fill in coordination with Johnny's team at the TPO, Vision Zero roadways. And then our Sun Trail project awarded this year was the South Tampa Greenway for the City of Tampa, and construction will be added to fill those gaps and the new section in fiscal year 30. Resurfacing, we did a little something different with resurfacing. We went ahead and just printed a map to show all the different areas that are going to be resurfaced within this period of time from 26 to 30. Usually it takes up a lot of slides. However, we do have a separate listing of the resurfacings that we can provide to you. Lighting projects, I-275 and I-4, Hillsborough County, various locations. Construction was deferred to 2030. Technology was US 41 at State Road 60 EV charger deployment has been removed from the work program. It's been removed from the work program until the central office took the funding out of the work program until we can get an updated report approved, and then they will look at putting the money back in to add the EV chargers along the state highway system. So, and then State Road 60, Adamo, and Maydell Drive, traffic ops improvements, construction will be in fiscal year 26. We have some miscellaneous projects. These are all landscaping. Added in 26 was I-275 from north of I-4 to Hillsborough Avenue, and then I-4 at Park Road interchange, and then construction in 28 for landscaping at I-4 at Thenona-Sassa. Couple more miscellaneous projects. These are going to be bridge projects that we have coming up. Hillsborough Bridge resiliency, Howard Franklin resiliency measures. Bridge, we're going to be doing the construction in fiscal year 30 for that. Hillsborough superstructure, I-75 over the Alafaya. 29, we will start looking and doing the design, and construction will be in 30. And then Hillsborough Bridge strengthening and culvert repair, construction was added in 29 as well. A couple more miscellaneous. US 41 at CSX grade separation from State Road 676 to north of State Road 676. New bridge construction has been advanced to fiscal year 30. And then North 56th Street from south of East Hannah to east of Sly Avenue, drainage improvements. Design was added in fiscal year 30. Aviation-wise, Tampa International Airport petroleum storage systems refurbishment. Capital grant was added in fiscal year 26. Also, another capital grant for Tampa International runway reconstruction was added in 26. Peter O. Knight Airport aircraft wash rack rehab capital grant was added in 27. And then Peter O. Knight Airport hangar A rehab capital grant added in 27. And the airport tie down at Peter O. Knight Area J rehab and the tie down area H were also the capital grants that were awarded to Peter O. Knight in 27. Tampa Executive Airport Highway H rehab capital grant again in 27. Tampa Executive Airport wash rack rehab also in 27 capital grant. And then Plant Cities Airport rack rehab was added in 27 as well. We had two seaport projects this year. Port Tampa Bay Harbor Deepening Seaport Capacity Project. Capital grant was awarded for fiscal year 26. And then Port Tampa Bay Navigational Improvements, another seaport capacity project, capital grant in 26 as well. So over the next 5 years, we have $1.72 billion that will be going into Hillsborough County. And this is just a funding breakdown of the different areas and where that money falls. We do like to point out bike ped. It does have a significantly lower than what we're actually putting in because these are going to be standalone bike ped projects. It's hard to, our system is a DOS system and does not allow us to break out the bike ped improvements that would say be in a traffic operations or safety project or capacity or even a resurfacing project. So it's a little bit harder for us to capture that real number. But just note the bike ped number is just the standalone projects. Tentative work program timeline. So right now the online public hearing is open online and I will provide you with that website. We're asking for all public comment to be submitted through the website by December 30th. The good, the bad, the ugly, whatever you want to tell us, that's, we're really highly encouraging you to go there, make your comments so you can be heard. January 10th is the deadline for MPOs to submit their written objections. And then this list will go to early spring, will go to the FTC and the legislator. Once the governor signs off on it, then it will be approved July 1st with the new work program. So this is our website for the public comment. And again, December 30th is the deadline. We are having an in-person public hearing at the City of Temple Terrace Library. So if you would want to come in and look at any of the information that's available on the website, you are able to do so and submit your comments there. That will be next Thursday from 4 to 7. And then just to close out, we have a little safety reminder, early on time, a little late, just get there safely. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much for your report, Mayor Ross.
Thank you, Ms. Ziegler, for that, and thank you to DOT for their willingness to fund a crosswalk from our library across Bullard when it's a county road, not a state road, and I want to thank you for that. By the way, if you go to your meeting, don't park across the street because there's no crosswalk there.
Okay.
So I want to thank you for that, but I also want to tell you that that will be, if I can't get Hillsborough County to build a crosswalk by 2030, I'll pay for it myself. And so we're not waiting to 2030 for a crosswalk. If USF can build a football stadium in 3 years, we ought to, by God, be able to get a crosswalk from our library. And so, Hilton, I'm looking at you because you're from Hillsborough County, but I know it's not you. But I am beyond frustrated with this project. This has been going on since before I was mayor. I'm in my second term now, for crying out loud. We're talking about a crosswalk. And I keep, the county will tell me, oh, we're going to build it this fiscal year. Well, that comes and goes. And then the next fiscal year, well, it's in the design phase. And they've come to our city council probably 2 years ago now and they have the design done. They showed us slides. They got the engineering done. They told us what they were going to do from the river to 56th Street. It's designed. And that's when I called DOT and said, hey, the county doesn't have the money for the crosswalk. Would you be willing to chip in? And Justin said, yeah, we'll do that. If they're going to do the rest of the work, we'll give you a rectangular flashing beacon. Sure. It's like 50 grand. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So if I can't get Hillsborough County to build this crosswalk, then I will fund it in our budget, and we will go to the county and build it ourselves across your road. And I'll let the county put it in writing that they won't let us do that. And let's see how that goes. So anyway, I'm frustrated. I'm not frustrated at you. It's not your obligation to do the crosswalk at all. It's not your road. So thank you for that. But I am frustrated with the county, and I'm on this issue. I still love you, but
We hear you.
this issue is ridiculous. So thank you.
Just to note, I know we've had conversations and we've had meetings and all of that. We are looking to, if funding does become available before, this is one of the projects that we want to elevate to get it built faster for you, because we know it's needed, so.
Thank you for your comments. Commissioner Wooster.
I would just add to the mayor that if you'd ever like some exhilarating pontifications, you can listen to our meetings and hear me expound the importance to my colleagues to start prioritizing needs over all of the wants that they want. So I know it's a problem, and I know that there's desperate needs that would save lives, likely like this one. Including the road that you and I are absurdly not allowed to talk about out of Sunshine, that you want fixed. But just to give everybody some perspective, the road that the mayor brought up in past meetings is like number 168 on the list, I believe was what was discerned. Hillsborough County government hasn't fully funded or even 50% funded our annual road maintenance and repaving program in over 18 years that I can find so far. After 15 years, it's become more difficult to ascertain the information because it wasn't so digital then. I believe that our sidewalks, when I was first elected, were about 16 years behind, and we're up to 13 or 12 years on that list. So there's lots of needs, and hopefully with the renewal of the CIT, we'll be able to quickly usher in some of those. So if your office just wants to send me the crosswalk, I've never heard of the crosswalk issue, but we'll just add it to my list. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. It's with the Florida Turnpike. Okay. Good morning.
This is not my presentation. Good morning, board members.
Good morning.
My name is Siao Fine, and I'm with the Florida's Turnpike Enterprise. I'd like to start off by thanking you for the opportunity to present the Turnpike's tentative work program for fiscal years 2026 to fiscal year 2030. So, in Hillsborough County, the Turnpike is proposing to fund $18 million in major projects for this 5 years. As part of the Florida Department of Transportation, the Florida's Turnpike Enterprise considers FDOT's compass while developing our work program. And this compass is made of 5 pillars. Those 5 pillars are safety, resiliency, supporting a robust supply chain, technology, workforce development, and this is all built around our communities. To help meet the state's transportation needs, the enterprise primarily receives funding through user tolls and concessions at our service plazas. You can note that these service plazas are primarily on our Turnpike main line. The Turnpike must pay for operations and maintenance costs first. This includes the cost to collect and process toll payments. Then we invest revenue into renewal and replacement projects. So these are our resurfacing projects or any other reoccurring improvements on our roadways. Finally, the enterprise uses the remaining funds to pay for capital improvement projects. These capital improvement projects include our widening projects, our interchange projects, and also our roadway expansion projects. So before I talk some more about our work program, I would like to update you on the status of the Suncoast Parkway extension in Citrus County, and that goes from State Road 44 to County Road 486 to US 19. So the Suncoast Parkway from State Road 44 to County Road 486, you can note, and on the map, it's that green dotted line. So right now, that project is under construction. The Suncoast Parkway from County Road 486 to County Road 495, which is that light pink portion on the map, will be under construction in the first quarter of calendar year 2025. The Suncoast Parkway from County Road 495 to US 19, this is that light green portion on the map that you see, will be under construction by the third quarter of calendar year 2025. Ultimately, these projects will complete the 83-mile-long State Road 589 corridor. And that goes all the way from here in Hillsborough County, all the way up to US 19 in Citrus County. Florida's Turnpike system consists of limited access facilities and provides Florida's residents and visitors with a safe, efficient, and affordable means of travel. Turnpike facilities are in 6 FDOT districts and are in 20 counties in the state of Florida. In Pasco County, we have 20 miles of Turnpike managed toll facilities. In Hillsborough County, we have 20 miles of Turnpike managed toll facilities. So at your place, you should have this green document right here. This presentation that I'm giving it ultimately kind of directs the crowd back to this green document that I have in my hand right here. So this is the Turnpike's tentative work program summary. So this document is a compilation of the 5-year work program that the Turnpike has and any projects that we have in those 5 years. So the major parts of this document, there are 3 major parts. So on page 1, you'll see that there's this table at the top. So these are current construction projects. These projects are currently under construction in the current fiscal year or will be under construction within the fiscal year. Then from pages 2 to page 4, you'll see those are our main table projects. These projects have construction funding associated with these projects. However, they're outside of the current fiscal year. So they have construction funding, they're not under construction right now. And then finally, on page 7, you'll see that there is this final table here. So these projects are our funded projects without construction funding. So these projects may have PD&E design right-of-way funding, but do not have construction funding associated with these projects within the 5 years of the work program. So first, I'd like to present the main table projects. Again, these are the projects that have construction funding associated with these projects. They're just not under construction currently. So the first project is the resurfacing of the Suncoast Parkway from milepost 14.3 to milepost 17.5. That is from Van Dyke Road to the Hillsborough County line, Hillsborough-Pasco County line. And that project has construction in fiscal year 2026 at $15 million. The second project is the Tismo Interchange Improvement Project at Van Dyke Road. And this project essentially extends the northbound ramp from Van Dyke Road to the Suncoast Parkway. And this project has construction funding in fiscal year 2026 at $3.3 million. So again, this slide shows that page 7 projects, those projects that may have PD&E design and right-of-way funding, but do not have construction funding associated with these projects. So the project that's on here is the widening of the Suncoast Parkway from south of Van Dyke Road to the Hillsborough County line. And that is widening to 8 lanes. So this project has design funding in fiscal year 2026 at $21 million. This design was actually advanced from last year. Last year it was fiscal year 2027. This year it's fiscal year 2026 for design. And then this project also has right-of-way funding for fiscal years 2028 through fiscal year 2029 at $1 million. Okay. For more information on the Turnpike's tentative work program, you can visit the FDOT work program public hearing website and download the District 7 public hearing report. That link on there, that code, will take you to the website. I'm not sure if District 7 has the report up, but when it becomes available, it should include our projects also in that one document. So Turnpike's tentative work program projects can also be found on our website, floridasturnpike.com. And before I go, I'd like to share a safety minute with you. So during this festive time of year, it's important that we all take care of each other on our shared roadways so that we can all arrive alive this season. But with that being said, that is the end of my report. If there are any questions, I will take those now.
Okay. Commissioner Wilson?
Good presentation as always. I appreciate your road every day. I appreciated your road an hour ago. I appreciate your road when I go to Tallahassee. And you guys took the time to come and talk to me about the my hopeful item to get the Hillsborough exit addressed. It's just it's a problem. Even this morning when there was no traffic, that one exit was still a problem. So just appreciate you guys looking into all that, and I think you guys do a good job. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay.
May I offer a clarification? In a presentation of the FTE work program that the CAC and the TAC saw, the project limits on the resurfacing from Van Dyke Road to Hillsborough County line got moved just slightly south of the county line to Lutz Lake Fern Road. And I would just like to offer a clarification that eventually that short sliver of roadway will be resurfaced, just not within this FTE work program. Is that accurate?
Oh, yeah, I believe so. I generalized it a little bit just to give you a more clear of where the milepost was, but what Johnny said was accurate.
Okay. No, again, thank you so much for your report.
Thank you.
Okay, if Phoenicia can come up. Okay. Come on. She's gonna, wait on her. Good morning. She's going to present.
Good morning, TPO board members. This is Vishaka Shivraman. I'm TPO staff. I'm here to present the letter of comments. You just heard presentations from FDOT and FTE on their respective tentative work programs today. I'm here to present this letter of comment that we prepared in response to the projects contained in each of those work programs. We are recommending that you approve transmittal of this letter to FDOT District 7 and the Turnpike. Our letter begins by giving credit to both FDOT and FTE for programming funds to projects which will have a positive impact in each of our project categories. Specifically, the funds to build resilience into the Howard Franklin Bridge will enhance its ability to withstand storms in the future. The numerous safety projects will reduce crashes across the county, which is the goal of our Vision Zero safety program. The South Tampa Green Bay Trail is a success story of a project advancing through the TPO FDOT pipeline. As we conducted the planning study, prioritized it through the TIP process, and now it is being funded for construction using Sun Trail dollars. Lastly, there are a number of major projects that we believe will provide connections to key job centers and move freight, including the Suncoast Parkway widening, the US 41 CSX grade separation, the runway rehabilitation at Tampa International Airport, and harbor deepening at Port of Tampa Bay. We generally want to thank partners for working with us to advance our priorities. In this work program, there are approximately a dozen TPO priority projects programmed, and that's a testament to the value of our relationship. This letter of comment was presented to the advisory committees last week. The TAC did not have a quorum and could not take any action, but they were generally happy with the content of the letter. The CAC recommended that the TPO include its comments in the letter, and a draft is provided in front of you with the CAC's recommendations, and it's highlighted. The CAC offered comments about both the process and projects identified in the tentative work program, namely, regarding the airport reconstruction project, the CAC requested that FDOT conduct a pedestrian activity analysis of the area surrounding the airport, as well as an environmental justice review of all the projects in the tentative work program. Next, they requested that FDOT identify potential sources of funding for the Tampa Arterial BRT project. Finally, they requested that FDOT remove design funds for the I-275 widening project from Hillsborough Avenue to Bears Avenue. Again, a hard copy of the letter with the CAC comments highlighted is in front of you, as also the version authored by the TPO staff. Our recommended action today is that you approve transmittal of the TPO staff version. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Board members, are there any questions? Commissioner wants to do?
I was going to move approval of the staff portion.
Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposers? Nay. We have one nay. Did you get that? You have that, Gail? Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Stay right there because you're next. Yeah. Okay. Well, right next is TIP amendment.
Can I start?
Good morning again.
Good morning. Again, this is Vishaka Shivraman for the record. And today I'm here to present the TIP amendments for the month of December. There are 3 TIP amendments for your consideration today. The Eastport Omniport expansion, 2 HART projects. One is for the computer-aided dispatch automatic vehicle location project, CADAVL, and the FHWA surface transportation program, which funds the vehicle replacements. Let me start with the first project. This is a project for the Port Tampa Bay, which won a $22 million discretionary grant to support the expansion of a berth and uplands area at one of Port Tampa Bay's newest port complexes. This project will increase the existing facility size from 18 acres to roughly 27 acres, and which makes it capable of berthing vehicles longer than 800 feet. This project will support Florida's booming the booming vehicle construction industry and help with the state become a leader in solar energy. This is through a federal infrastructure grant program, and this project will help with freight movement and job creation. The total award is granted as $22 million. This map in front of you will show the location of the port, and the highlighted area with the blue arrow is the expansion that will be undertaken. This slide will show you a summary of the TIP changes. Please note that this project will be added to the TIP, and this will add a total of $22 million in fiscal year 2025, as shown in the first line. The next project is an amendment for the HART CAD AVL system replacement project. This project, this is an automated vehicle locator project that tracks and reports vehicles in real time. The benefits include real-time tracking of the buses to help with the efficient dispatching and enhance the efficiency of the routes during peak hours of congestion. It also provides benefits to the passengers who are able to track the arrival and departure times of the buses for their trip planning. It also increases the overall operational efficiency of the HART system. The total award granted is $10.1 million. Again, this slide will help you to understand the summary of the TIP changes. Please note that this project will be added to the TIP, and you can, as you can see, the award is granted. The award is $10 million. This is not an additional $10 million, which was but this is it was originally programmed. What it shows is the FDOT's tracking mechanism to move the highway funds to the Federal Transit Agency funds. The next project is for HART, FHWA Surface Transportation Program. This is an FTA grant, which was awarded to HART for $4 million for bus purchase and replacement. This project will help HART to purchase 4 40-feet CNG low-floor buses. Each bus costs over a little over $800K, and the total award is $4 million. This is a recurring grant to use funds suballocated to the TPO to help keep up HART system in a state of good repair. Again, I would like to show the summary of the TIP changes. Please note that this will update the project in the TIP as highlighted in the second line. And this is not an additional $4 million, but it's, again, FDOT's tracking mechanism to move the state highway funds to the Federal Transit Agency funds. In this slide, I would like to show you that we did outreach efforts, which were 21 days prior to the board meeting, which is of today. We published a newsletter article. We posted about this project on the social media post and also on the webpage. With this, our recommended action today is for you to approve the TIP amendments to the FY 25-29 TIP.
Okay.
I can take any questions.
Thank you for your report. Mayor Ross.
Thank you. Good presentation. I just have a quick question regarding the port expansion, which is great news, by the way. That's very good. But my question concerns the additional freight coming in and out made by the enhancements. Will there be there has to be a corresponding increase in that freight coming in and going out of that facility? Is that going to be primarily by rail, or is there going to be an increase in truck traffic going through the freight corridors? And if so, do we need to be doing something to expand that, open up those arteries?
Yeah, excellent question. Thank you, Mayor. If you go back to the photograph, just wanted to have some clarification here. Let's pull that up.
Is this the map you want?
No, the one before that. Sorry. Yeah. So that's actually, that's our container terminal right there, and so that's not actually the site. And so it's the site to the north of that. That's on Causeway Boulevard. So if you looked at the very north of that photograph, that's the actual site. To the right of that is the big CSX loop rail. So that's just east of it. That big loop rail there, Rockport we call it, that was built back in between 1967 and 1970 to replace phosphate at Seton Island, which is now known as Harbor Island. So we used to have phosphate terminal right there at Harbor Island. It was a big phosphate area, so was the whole Channel District area, very industrial. So that's gone away, went to that location. There's underutilized rail there. We'd like to be able to connect that Causeway site to the rail to the east. So our plan here, this is going to be hundreds of millions of dollars for the project. We're only asking for $22 million for this part of it. So the idea is to have, there would be truck traffic, but we like to have rail as well. That's our ultimate goal. Now, this is going to be a break bulk cargo and other types of cargo. It's called Omniport because different types of cargo will come into this location. This is going to be a savings of about 47.6 miles per truck move. And that's because this cargo is coming from other ports around the country, maybe coming from Savannah, Everglades, Jacksonville, et cetera, coming into our community. So from the That nearest port to the nearest place of destination, that's about a savings of 47.6 miles, or about, I think it's about 2.6 million truck miles, something like that. There's a big savings there from that. But like I said, going back to answer your question is, yeah, we would like to be able to connect that rail at Rockport to this and distribute that from it. A couple other points about this particular project. It's going to have about 560,000 tons of cargo a year, and it's going to employ about 849 people, and with the average pay of about $84,000 per person. So these are good paying jobs. It's in an area that has deep water. It's 43 feet of water versus you go down Ybor Channel, it's about 34 feet of water. So it's capable of handling these post-Panamax vessels. The bigger vessels can come in there. They have wider beam, longer LOA overall. And so that's something we need to have. It's on 43 feet of water. Like I said, we don't have that very often in Hillsborough County, and the Hillsborough County Port District is the entire county. So we look at areas like this that we can expand and take care of this cargo to basically serve the needs of the people who are coming in our community. And we have about 100 people per day coming to Hillsborough County, 1,000 people today or so coming into Florida. So there's still that demand for construction materials like lumber, steel, solar steel, batteries, et cetera, for solar panels, et cetera. All that's going to be coming into this particular site. So, hope that answers all of your questions. Thanks.
Great. Commissioner Worcester?
You good, Mayor?
Yes, yes.
I move approval of the TIP amendments.
We have a motion and a second. Gail, can you give us a roll call, please?
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Mayor Ross?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Wastel?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowles?
Yes.
Councilmember Clendenin?
Yes.
Councilmember Hurtak?
Yes.
Councilmember Maniscalco? Yes. Mayor Kilton?
Yes.
School Board Member Rendon?
Yes.
Charles Klug?
Yes.
Greg Slater?
Yes.
Gary Hartfield?
Yes.
Planning Commissioner Joseph?
Yes.
The motion passes 14-0.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, thank you, Phoenicia. Okay, we're moving right along to 2025 draft meeting calendar. Johnny?
Good morning to
Good
your
morning.
board. This is my item. In your agenda packet, you should have received the draft 2025 meeting calendar. Our meeting dates will remain the same throughout the course of next year, second Wednesday of each month for our regular meetings. With the exception of November, we had to push the meeting date in November from the second Wednesday to the second Thursday because the time conflicts with the BOCC land use meeting. The special meeting dates are February 4th, May 6th, September 2nd, and December 2nd. We can use those special meetings to discuss topics related to the MPO merger study if there are any. You're going to get a sneak peek of my director's report now, but the TMA last Friday approved the merger scope of work. We anticipate that it'll take several months to put together that procurement package and select the consultant. So my anticipation is that the first half of 2025, we will not have much to bring to you in the way of special meeting topics. If that's the case, I'll work with the chair and the board to either cancel or postpone those to a later date. One other special note about the calendar. Last month, we discussed that there will be a need for an LRTP amendment early in 2025 to add the Branch Forbes and McIntosh Road widening projects into the non-CIS cost feasible plan. We're working with FDOT right now to collect the model data that we need to produce our performance metrics and basically show you what you would be giving up in exchange for the benefits of Branch Forbes and McIntosh. We are not yet there, and so the January meeting date looks unlikely. I would like to propose that we have the LRTP amendment processed at a public hearing on February 12th, immediately following the regular meeting. What's within TPO staff's control is we can try to keep the regular meeting agenda very short so that we don't keep you here much longer than what you're expected to. As soon as we process all of the action items on the regular meeting agenda, we can adjourn and then kick off the public hearing. What we can't control is public comment. And so there is the potential that the meeting time could go beyond the 2 hours that we have scheduled. If you have a meeting that runs right up against noon on February 12th, we'll get that information from your staff and adjust if necessary. We did not include that on the calendar because we haven't reached out to your staff yet, so that's the only other thing to keep in mind. What we're asking for today is approval of the draft calendar that's included in the packet.
Okay. Councilmember Clinton, thank you, Johnny.
Did I hear you correctly? You said that you moved the November meeting to the second Thursday?
Rather than it being on the second Wednesday of November, it's the second Thursday, so.
Because that would conflict with the city council's meeting.
Let me think. Would you mind approving this calendar? And once we figure out a date in November that works for city council and the BOCC, we can return and do an amendment to the calendar in January?
So moved with the intent for the amendment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? That motion is carried. Thank you so much. Okay, Attorney Cameron Clark, good morning.
Good morning, board members. Not used to being this far away from you. I have actually a hat trick here. I've got 3 items in a row to do for you, but they're all relatively brief. Because I don't have an overhead on this, you can see this proposed bylaws amendment on your agenda item, but I'll read it briefly into the record because it's short, and different parts of this I can explain to you where they come from, and I've got, regarding this scheduling conflict issue, I've got a real-world example I can give from a TPO meeting about 10 years ago. The proposed amendment, this was a new business item, I think, that was raised by Councilman Clendenin, a suggestion to bring back a board policy to address this issue, which has become a lot more prominent after COVID. So the proposed language, and this is subject to change, so I wanted to bring this before you. These require 2 votes for bylaws amendments, so this would be the first item. If the board was agreeable to it, we would do a second vote just as a consent item on a future agenda. It says TPO board members are required to attend meetings of the board in person. However, consistent with Florida law, a board member who is unable to physically attend a meeting of the board may participate virtually, utilizing communications media technology under extraordinary circumstances, provided that a quorum of the board is physically present at the location of the noticed meeting. Illness or other medical reason shall constitute extraordinary circumstances. Whether the absence of the board member due to scheduling conflict constitutes extraordinary circumstances is a determination that must be made by vote of the board at the start of a meeting. A board member requesting to participate virtually must so notify the director prior to the start of the board meeting. So the requirement to attend in person, that's pure sunshine law. However, there have been numerous Attorney General opinions that have clearly, and remember this isn't case law, these are just Attorney General opinions, so it's not binding, but it's relied on by a lot of sunshine bodies, that medical reasons or illness is really an established reason for an extraordinary circumstance. And this board, on the BOCC, we've had numerous instances of members who were medical procedures or are ill who participated virtually. Regarding extraordinary circumstances for scheduling conflicts, there's one AG opinion that addresses this, and I'll admit it's a bit of a punt. It basically just says that is up to the good judgment of the board. A real-world example I can give, appointed members of this board, appointed bodies, are able to all appoint voting alternates. So all the member bodies can have voting alternates. I know at least some do. But an example I can give you, I think it was the 2015 TIP adoption. The TIP was scheduled the same evening as Temple Terrace's annual budget meeting, and former Mayor Frank Chalura could not attend both at the same time physically. He asked about being able to attend. At that point, it was before we had, WebEx or stuff like that, so it was just honestly by speakerphone. He actually ended up attending physically their budget meeting, and in his office, he had the TIP meeting on speakerphone, and he sort of kept going back and forth between the two. His voting alternate was another member of City Council who had to be at the same meeting. So this is an opportunity for some level of flexibility, but because the AG opinion says it's the discretion of the board, it's really something that's not an automatic thing because the nature of the conflict matters. But that said, it could even be read that the board can determine that the scheduling conflict is not good enough unilaterally, like none of them are, because these are scheduled in advance. But like I said, that's why I provided the real-world example. There was really nothing in that instance that Temple Terrace could have done to have representation of both at the same time. So this is just presented for discussion. If the board is okay with it, we can come back with it on a consent agenda, but I'm happy to take questions if you have them.
Are there any questions?
My point was just to make sure that we had a clear, well-understood rule so that it was applied to everybody, regardless of what the rule is, so that we understood what the policies were. So regardless of what the board decides, as long as it's equitable and we all understand it, I'm good with it.
Okay. This is the first reading, right? You can make this the first reading?
It is, but the board's required to vote on it twice, so the board can vote on this, and
Okay.
if it's approved, it'll come back on a consent agenda in the future.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposes? That motion is carried. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. This next item is a requirement of this board's staff services agreement with the Planning Commission. The board has appointing and termination authority over the director, but for administrative purposes, the TPO director it falls under the Planning Commission. There's a requirement for an annual evaluation of the director. Dr. Wong and I sort of timed this because this is about a year from when he first started. We had some very positive responses. What I did was I send out the responses. Then when I get the responses back, I compile them into a single form so members can see an average of the scores and include any comments that members had. We did have one that came in after the deadline, but just to note, it was another very positive review. It would have really been consistent with the other scores that had come in. But this isn't really something where I don't interview board members about it, so I can't really take questions. The only requested action of the board is simply to receive the evaluation.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposes? That motion is carried.
Okay.
Thank you.
And finally, the last item on the agenda is the annual election of officers. Under our bylaws, it was added just in the last few years, that officers can only serve 2 years in the same role. Commissioner Myers and Mayor Ross are at the end of 2 years in their current offices. So what I will do is I'll ask for nominations, beginning with chair. I will keep asking for nominations until there are no more. If there's only one nomination, that person is automatically chair. Nominations do not require seconds. So I would start by asking for a nomination for TPO chair.
I nominate Mayor Ross for chair.
Mayor Ross is nominated. Are there any other nominations? Seeing it requires no vote because there's only one nomination, so Mayor Ross, congratulations.
Congratulations, Mayor Ross.
And do I have any nominations for vice chair?
Come on, board members.
And nominate Commissioner Wastel.
Commissioner Wastel is nominated. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, Commissioner Wastel is vice chair. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Commissioner Wastel.
So there are a few committee appointments to go over. The first is, and members, there's no term limits for these, so members who are currently doing them can continue to do them if they wish to do so. There is one vacancy to fill. But for Transportation Disadvantage Coordinating Board, present chair is Commissioner Myers. Do you wish to proceed in that role, or?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so Commissioner Myers continues. Livable Roadways Committee is Councilman Hurtak. Do you wish to remain in that role, or?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So TMA Leadership Group, I have Mayor Ross, Councilmember Hurtak, and I have a vacancy created by Commissioner Kemp, and I have Mr. Slater as the alternate in that role. Is there I need a third regular member for TMA Leadership Group.
Commissioner Bowles?
I'll take that role of, to continue on with District 6.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Bowles, thank you. And then finally, I have Mr. Klug. You are the appointee to the MPO advisory. Are you wish to remain in that? Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you so much.
That's probably prudent.
Yes. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposes? That motion is carried. Thank you so much. Move right into the Executive Director's report.
Good morning, TPO Board. I will be brief, and I would like to begin by recapping the Tri-County TMA and 8-County SCTPA meetings which occurred last Friday. At the Tri-County TMA meeting, that group approved the 2025 list of major regional priorities. Hillsborough TPO submitted a proposal to include the 275 widening project from Hillsborough to Bears. There was a very robust discussion about that topic and that project. Ultimately, the TMA approved that addition and approved the list of priority projects. Following that action item, the TMA also approved the draft scope of work for the merger exploration study. And in the following meeting, which was of the 8-county Suncoast Transportation Planning Alliance, the SCTPA also agreed to add the I-275 widening project to its 8-county list of major regional priorities. Not on the agenda for my director's report, but I will share that last Thursday, I attended the City of Tampa City Council meeting, and I was asked to speak about the merger scope of work and some of the conversations that have taken place. I thought it was a fairly valuable conversation and somewhat productive. I recapped my recollection of how the meeting Q&A went and shared that with all of the board members. In short, I asked them 3 questions. How would they like to be engaged in the process? And I did get one response from a city council member, which was quarterly updates, either in person from TPO staff or written. And then I also asked if anyone on city council had identified red flags in the merger scope of work that might prevent them from participating fully in the process. By my count, 2 members stated that, or 2 council members stated that they believe that they will not support that and are not interested in engaging in the process. 4 expressed concern, if not skepticism, about the process, but said that they would participate in the exploration, that they would be engaged in conversations, and 1 offered no opinion. So I shared that again with the TPO board members and iterated that to the TMA. And of course, I'd be happy to answer any questions about that. The second item under the director's report is to remind you that the TPO board meeting will be January 8th, our first meeting of the new year, with Chair Ross and Vice Chair Wastel. And then another date to look forward to in January is that we have our quadrennial, every 4 years, Federal Highway Certification Site Visit on January 21st. That is a public meeting that will have to be properly noticed. It's not required that any board members attend, but it certainly shows Federal Highway that you all are engaged in our process and active members of this board. So we will get that Outlook calendar sent to you, mark down that date, January 21st, and once the agenda is finalized on the Fed side, we'll circulate that to you as well. That's it for me. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Commissioner Worcester.
Sergeant, could you say that again? At the city council meeting, you said that 2 are not interested in the merger conversation and 4 are?
4 offered comments that either utilized the word concerned or skeptical, but all 4 said that they would commit to engaging in the process. The 2 that I mentioned at the beginning said that they do not believe that they would support a merger. It didn't see value in even participating. And I got to add, one of those 2 is my interpretation. One of the council members said, if we don't get along when we're engaged, we shouldn't get married. And my interpretation of that was that they don't commit to the process.
I think I know who that was. Okay. But 4 did commit that they will go through the conversations.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, Mayor Ross.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just in addition to the discussion on the TMA, one of the things, kind of as a result of Johnny's experience with the City of Tampa's council, was that I asked the TMA group if we could ask the 3 TPO directors from the 3 counties to do this, and they agreed. You know, we hear a lot in here from Secretary Gwynn. We've heard, you know, the Hillsborough money can't be commingled with Pasco or taken from one county to the other. We've heard a lot of things throughout and it's difficult to even remember what we've heard, much less share it accurately with our home councils and boards. And so what I asked of the TMA group was to, I don't know what direct is the right word, I'm not sure we have that authority, but to ask the directors to work together to create kind of a frequently asked questions document that would serve as a central repository of information that could contain, you know, things that council members and the public really would want to know. I mean, is this going to increase our eligibility for funding? You know, well, yes or no, or kind of maybe, should. You know, what is that going to jeopardize our local funding, and what impact is that going to have on our local ability to control our decisions and so forth? So some of these frequently asked questions, and that single document could then be posted on everybody's website, made available to the public and to our council members, so that we're all sharing accurate information with our home councils and commissions, so everybody knows. Because Tampa, I had to agree with that when Tampa said, you know, we're not, and yeah, I mean, how are they getting updates? And you know, I would assume the members of this board who are from the Tampa Council are sharing information as I am, but it's hard to keep up with everything, and it's hard to know if you're really given the latest and the most accurate. So that should be forthcoming. I mean, we didn't give them a deadline, but that should be something that's coming on the horizon to kind of help everybody know, and it would need to be updated, I mean, as things happen and as this consultant comes on board, so.
Okay, any other? Seeing none? Okay, any old business? Any new business? Well, I just want to thank everyone for working with me as board chair, and wish everyone a very, very happy holiday season and enjoy. And with that being said, at 11:17, we are adjourned. Enjoy the rest of your